And a move to break a wartime dispute between Japan and South Korea over forced labor is rejected by victims. They want reparations to be paid by Japanese companies and a full apology from the government in Tokyo.
For more on this latest deal between South Korea and Japan, Kuni Miyake, he's research director at the Canon Institute for Global Studies, joins us live from Tokyo. Mr. Miyake, not surprising that victims and victim support groups are already dissatisfied with this deal. But domestic pressure aside, I suppose external pressure, so what's happening in Japan and South Korea and also in Washington, and also the regional and global security environment, all these things forcing both Japan and South Korea to rethink their tense ties and to set their differences aside. This is how you read this latest deal.
Well, the decision expressed by the Korean Foreign Ministry is, I think, is a one positive step forward. I hope that this is the sort of a progress leading to a more enduring solution to this issue. I think I am cautiously optimistic in a sense. If not, it's a groundbreaking new chapter. I don't know. It's because devil is in the details. And I'm not saying that I am pessimistic. I think this decision was a very brave political decision made by the Korean president, so which I appreciate. And the Japanese government also considered this as something to bring back the difficult Japan-South Korea relations to unhealthy relations. So I think that says all.
Well, perhaps the best way Japan could acknowledge the bravery, as you say, of the decision by the government in Seoul is to reciprocate in some measure. So, for example, some form of apology that might at least halfway meet demands from victims in South Korea, and also perhaps getting Japanese companies, those that were named by the South Korean Supreme Court in 2018, to perhaps make some reparations to these public funds. Is that something Japan might be prepared to do?
Well, there are things we cannot accept. There are things we might be able to do. And I think it's in the middle of the, in the process of the negotiations, they've been discussing it. So I just want to pay close attention to the process. The process is still ongoing. But having said that, the essence of this issue is the fact that unfortunately the Japan-South Korea relations has been and probably will be in the foreseeable future 90%, in my view, domestic politics. So if we could solve domestic political affairs, then we will be able to reach an agreement or settle the issue diplomatically. So this is the essence of this difficult issue, and I hope that the both sides will take appropriate measures. But as far as your questions are concerned, I think our understanding is that those issues have been solved since 1965. So if we come up with, or if we see any kind of solution during which the Korean side could move the goalpost again, as they did in the past, then probably that won't be a permanent solution.
All right.
So that's why I am
cautiously optimistic. All right. A final question here, Mr.
Cautiously optimistic, yes.
All right. You mentioned these past agreements. So we've got 1965, that treaty by which both sides will resolve that all claims due to colonization, those should have been resolved. Again, 2015, the Comfort Woman deal. 1998, then Prime Minister Obuchi apologized for what happened to comfort women as well as forced labor in South Korea. These apologies were made, and as you mentioned, South Korea has, for different reasons, rescinded these agreements. Is there any suggestion that this time this agreement will be built upon so that we do not see both sides somehow walking away from agreement that was reached in good faith? Final question.
Well, I think I'm in that sense I'm more optimistic because both sides are willing to work together, and especially in the very difficult national security circumstances, and the rise of China, the North Korean situation, all lead to a conclusion that we have to work together. Not only South Korea and Japan, but also with the United States. So I think we are in the right direction, and I don't think that we will have to repeat the same mistake again.
Thanks so much for joining us this evening.
By moving the goalpost.
All right, thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Kuni Miyake, Research Director at the Cannon Institute for Global Studies.